Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you? I hope you all have a good healthy on this change. Today I want to share how you to invest your income technique I've used along the way that's lot save nearly 100% of my income and essentially life for free include how I'm able to own my home for pretty much nothing for a pocket. I'm able to travel anywhere in the world without spending $1. How about drive a car in 78 a month and every other master money saving trick that I've learned along way the stretch each dollar if far you could possibly get my anyway. What are the best way to save as much money as you can to move in your mom desk and then borrow her car when she's not using it and then use your credit card to get by and you don't have to pay it for yourself. Seriously, it worked wonders and one of the best way to save as much money as you possibly can. Oh, just kidding. It was just a joke. I just found ways to really creative with my spending and by doing so that allows me to save more money, invest more, which means I have more freedom to go and do what I want, like spending half of this video trying to get you guys to destroy the like button for YouTube algorithm. So with that said, that get into the video and going to sharing every way that I've used to save about 99% of my income starting with this. But first I just want to clarify that regardless of how much money I make, for me learning and figuring out different way to save money is fun. Even as a kid I was just that wired person who got more enjoyment from saving and investing than I ever got more spending. So for almost my entire life I just found creative way to $1 as far as it could possibly go. My rationalization was really just entire concept of what known as FIRE, which stand for financially independent, retire early. This is the methodology of that if you save and invest enough money, eventually you're going to reach a point to financial independence when your investment can cover your day-by-day lifestyle without you need to work. Once I heard this concept put into word, it was just a opening for me. It's so much more than just being frugal and saving money. It's really about prioritizing your life around the things and experiences that mean the most to you. Then cutting back on everything else, it doesn't fit that. It's about building a life that eventually leads to complete freedom to do what you want when you want to do it without financial holding you back. And once you reach the point, the possibilities are limitless. Doing this has allowed me to create a schedule where almost every day just feels like Saturday, and I had the ability to work on the thing I find the most enjoyable. But anyway, point being, this video not just about being cheap, it's about realizing what really important and getting the most value from your money as possibly. and and that way you can enough money left over the whatever freedom and luxuries you like. And these are my top money saving strategies that have made the biggest impact for me. Now the first is by doing what called house hacking, and this is let me to show you own your home for $0 out of pocket while still getting to live here for free. And if that sounds too good to be true, let me explain how it works and how I've done it. To start, housing hacking is when you buy a multi-family property like a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Then you move into one of unit and rent you to others to cover your costs. You, you might also be able to do this when a single family home with a guest house or be able to read the basement to cover you overhead. Typically when done right, the rental income for other units should cover all of your overhead and expenses. Unit owning the building, and when that happens, essentially you got a free place to stay. Now in order to do this is typically required you save up about 10 and 20% of your cost of the building as your down payment to buy the property. Once you have that amount, you could leverage the property for pretty much free housing for the rest of your life. For my life, you should buy duplex. It needly and discount amount of work, so you spend a few months fix it up. I've been moved in collected read from the other unit to cover my mortgage, and within about 2 years I was able to do my cash to refinance and recoup my entire investment within a property, meaning at that time I had $0 for my own money invest in the deal. The property was able to cash flow enough to cover my entire payment, meaning that I have a place that I could live in for nothing out of pocket. And for anyone who want more details on this and how it worked, because I could easily talk another 10 or 20 on this subject, I'm going to be linking to another now video down below in description for anyone curious. Now I will say that doing something like this does not come without a lot of work, a lot of patience to find. Okay, the deal, the money to actually go and buy this into first place, but this is not an unusual or uncommon real estate strategy for people who want to live free and outside. King is a fairly known method for people who want to leverage their money invest in real estate and cut down on their housing significantly. If you don't have a down payment save up right now, but you still want to cut down on your housing, no worries on that. You can also reduce your cost of living by doing what called hacking. This is where you go and rent a house and then sublet a few of the bedroom to cover your costs. Or similar to this, you can consider living without roommates to give yourself enough time to save up. But overall, for me, house hacking has been one of best thing that I've ever done. It's estimated the most people spend 30 or 50% of their income on housing, so being able to address and biggest expand first will get the longest way in the term of how much money you could save. Beside that, I've also found a really interesting way to save on train transportation, and that's by paying very close attention to the car I drive. And I'm going to call this one car hacking. And I know that sound like super shady stuff like cracking. It not, I know. These are fairly specific one of example, for that are a lot of cars out there that you could buy for under market value that have already experiences the majority of their depreciation that you could pretty much okay for without losing much value. For example, many sold used car reach this point after about 5 or 6 years that you could buy into a dress good deal and then drive without that car, causing you have a lot money. For me, my friend did this with a Lotus Elise. He always been really into cars, so in 2009 he bought a Lotus L for $30 million, drove it for a few years, and then sold it for $30 million. That cars cost me nothing to own beside paying the insurance, gas, and doing a few oil changes himself. Then did the same thing with Lotus Edge. That car in 2040, drove it for 5 years, and then sold it recently for about the same price you bought it for. Those cars are like saving account because you could put it your money and the car drive it around for a few years and then get all your money back by the time you're done with it. Even with Telsa was able to get the cost down substantially substantially by understanding the tax code and the eighth rebate available to me after doing my research determined that if you finance 100% of the car and put the sales tax on your credit card, you get back $3,075. Tax credit on that car is 2,500 X dollar tax credit to be able to write off the cost the car against my business, allowing me to drive it for out the pocket cost of $78 in amount, and that doesn't even include the cost of gas saving or being able to invest my money elsewhere to much higher return than what I'm paying in interest on the car loan. And we understand that not anyone is self-employed and can utilize this tax deduction. But even if you're watching this and just want to get a car to take you from point A to point B, you could still get a really good deal on a used car below the worth and drive it for because for free. It's already seen a majority of its depreciation, with at the very least your only out-of-pocket cost is going to be insurance, gas, and maintenance, which hopefully you find yourself a really reliable car and you don't have a lot of speeding ticket, that way insurance is not going to be too high after that. Though is one of my favorite topic that I talk about non-stop, and that how I'm able to travel for free using nothing but credit card reward point. And here how that work, credit card companies will offer incredibly bonus just for signing up for the credit card. People who understand the art of house straw can use this to their advantage by signing up for a credit card, meeting the minimum spending requirement to get the bonus, then get a bonus redeem that for all type of free travel, and then move on and next one and repeat the process again. I absolutely love talking about this because I'm proud to say that I have not paid for single plane ticket or hotel in over 4 years now, and doing this incredibly simple and fun. For instance, that means you just go and put all your normal spending on the credit card during the time frame to get the bonus. You're going to have enough point to get to free road trip. I just taking this concept to extreme by opening up 1, 2, 3 credit card a year, meeting the minimum spending requirement, get the point, and then using this point to travel wherever I want without spending any additional money. And of course, so if you want to do this successfully, there are a few great rules. First, obviously, you should never do this. If you don't know how to properly handle a credit card, you need to use it responsibly only. Really important to never pay a single dime to interest. I've always soaked when people think it credit card will cost them money because they're going to be owning interest on their way spent. So let me make it so very clear. You're not going to have to own interest as long as you pay off your credit card in full at the time it's due. And third, do not do this if you're about to get a loan on your house or a car. This is because there might impact your credit score every time you apply for a new line of credit. So unless you already have an expensive line of credit history, it's probably too risky to open up anything new right before you're getting a loan. Without giving yourself enough time for your credit card to recover, doing this could be a really fun hobby and will end up making you a lot of money and free travel perks and service. That also how I've been able to cut my travel budget down to $0 for anyone. All have incredible information about credit card, reward point, and everything else involving that. Never we gonna be talking about something that very close to my heart and that would call me. If there's one thing that I refuse to spend money on this, it's this. I've just never seen the point in going and spending its dollar for coffee and a coffee shop when instead you can make it a home at home for pennies on the dollar because going to spending your money on coffee does add up. For example, if making coffee at home saves you $15 a week, that works out to be a $780 of a year saving. And if you just invest those savings every single year, percent return adjusts for inflation with dividend reinvested. I said that all in one. Take by the way, that gets like on this video over 14 years old, 40 years old, that amount will accumulated to over $178,000. And if you're wondering right now, how do I even do this? Where do I start? Well, not to worry, and here why you're never gonna have to be concerned about picking the right coffee or running out of it ever again. And that's all thanks to our video sponsor today. With Trade You could discover new coffee from the nation. Trade literally match you to your perfect selection of coffee and then conveniently delivers it without you ever needing to leave your kitchen. All you need to do is take the online quiz, which will ask you questions about how you like your coffee, and they will pair you with the perfect match. Then you could choose how often you want to coffee delivered to you, and it will appear right at your doorstep fresh afterward. You could write your matches to trade can continue to delight you with the best coffee you will absolutely love. For anyone interested, click the link about in the description to get 30% of your first bag of coffee when you sign up, and free shipping included. The seriously real talk. This is not them telling me what I say at this point, but I have been using this and this is seriously good. The quality is so much better than I was getting from anywhere else, and the blend that I was able to try were so much better than what I could have picked out on my own. For so this is company a Model C, really happy to stand behind, because quite literally I'm now standing behind it. Not to me mention making coffee at home is a phenomenal way to save money. So come on, it just a take win and win. Where beside that, another way that I've been able to cut bake and save a decent amount of money is by not frequently eat out of restaurant. Now I totally understand that this might not have a big an impact on your finance like housing or transportation, but still every little bit matters, and it does add up for me. I've been able to really easily cut back on this just by going and making food at home and then bringing it to work instead of spending $10 or $15 on lunch, or instead of going out to eat somewhere. It's really easy to get to grocery store, spend $7 on food and making yourself meal for a fraction of a pricey restaurant will charge. You know that now to say that I never go out of to the restaurant because that's not the case. But even when you're not do going out and still find different way to save money without money, way I can do this just by finding restaurant heavy hours which will often give you a 10 to 50% discount just by going a little earlier or a little later or a little later. It's the exact same food at some place with the same expensive, except maybe you show up at the 5:30 instead of your at 7. You pay half the price. Another way to do this is that if all your friends are going out to a big meal but you don't feel like spending $40 on food, just go and order an appetizer instead. Usually those appetizer are just filling their half the price and you still get to enjoy a meal and all your friends. Just saving a lot of money. The same thing also applies. I think it's a big ways to go out and spend money on drink, not to mention it's not that good for you, so I prefer not to drink. Not only does it save me a lot of money, but I also feel better not having the alcohol in my system. And of course, every now and then I will order a drink, but when I do, it's a special occasion and I value the experience much more more than if I just went out in order to $12 drink every single time I went out, so cutting back on the restaurant, but going out on the occasion just make it much more fun and memorable experiences when you do go out. Plus going and making food at the home save a lot of money. They can go and reinvest elsewhere and when one. And then one more while I'm on a topic of unusual way to save money, and that would be by always going and finding free parking. I really should have included this in my interview with CNBC about thing I refuse to spend money on because beside coffee and designer clothes, paying for parking would be one of those things I absolutely love. I just don't see the point in spending $5 or $10 in parking when it's dead. I can park a block away for free and just walk there. For me, that's like I'm getting paid for doing a little exercise. Plus it save money if sure I get it every week. Now and then it might be worth it to pay to for convenience, or if you're in a time crunch you need to get somewhere, maybe okay, it's worth not to have to walk a mile to get to your destination, but for the most part, if you're not nothing else to do with your time, sometimes it's worth. Well, it just part a little bit further away, save the money, get some exercise, and walk to where you wanting to go. It's such an easy way to save money and cut back on your spending, especially if you're in a big city. They charge you a lot of money for parking fee, and lastly for me, one of biggest reason why all of this is possibility. On a thousand of years ago, they connected us and put him because I mechanically tracked by expenses. You don't know how much money you will need to sustain your lifestyle, and you're not gonna be able to effectively cut back on the things that aren't bringing you a lot of value, and doing this really is simple, which automatically keep a true report on how much you make, how much you spend, and where you spend it doing. This is so impactful that I promise if you just do it for 2 months, you're gonna be shocked and how much money you waste on things to bring no value to you whatsoever. What you make without even thinking about it, by tracking your spending and know exactly where it goes, you're going to able to better pinpoint to inefficiencies, cut back, and save money for the things that do matter. And when I do that, one of the wired money just saving trick I do is just think to myself, if I save money by not buying something in a way, it's like just I've just made that amount of money. Like if I going to spend $5 on a cup of coffee driving home, but instead I decided not to go and get the cup of coffee in a way, it's like just have an extra $5 now sitting in my account, because otherwise it would have spent it. Thinking this way really rewires with your brain and how previous saving, and instead reforms it as I'm not saving money, I'm making the money. I didn't spend to this point. Some of the things I mentioned might seem like small consequential ways to save money that just complicate your life and cause your time. But the way I see it is that you can bring down the most expensive costs first, like transportation and housing, and pay attention to that small debt they item and add up over time, like eating out, parking fee, making coffee, and so on. You put yourself in the best position possible to cut back as much as you can and save the most money long term, so it stick. Because let's be real, it's not cutting back and all the small costs alone that will saving $1 million, like going to buy Starbucks twice a week. It is not going to bankrupt you, but instead it's the attitude that every little bit matters, and the type of person to track that small every purchase is likely to carry them until forward into another larger item and will end up saving you or money. For me, even now, regardless of how much money I make, I now spend what the rental property generates, and that is I only have to extremely throw believe and first 4 years of my career and the real estate against to save up all my commission and with that I invest back to my real estate that allowed me to save 100% of my income as real estate agent life of my investment in with all the money I make, I could reinvest it back and will rental the properties. That would make me more money than increase your budget and still to this day I only that way. So guys, thanks for watching. Bye and seeing on my next video.